Hello, RWBY fans! This is the Salisbury Tea Party, and today I will be ranking my top 15 RWBY characters. Now, I personally adore this show. I was originally quite skeptical, but I was sucked in pretty immediately. It is one of those shows that seems to be filled with compelling characters, and honestly, narrowing down a top 10 was simply impossible, so I had to bump it up to 15 since there are just so many different people introduced throughout the series. I'd also like to highlight the fact that I love every last one of these entries, and it was exceptionally difficult to place them. And just because some didn't quite make the cut, doesn't mean they weren't great. Beware, there will be spoilers. So with all that nonsense out of the way, let's get on with it. Here are my top 15 RWBY characters. 15. Dr. Bartholomew Oobleck. Barty is a criminally underused character. He's high energy and enthusiastic about his job as a huntsman, which we come to see as moderately rare. Although he is totally capable on the battlefield, he prefers to look to history as a means of learning to better prepare for the future and help mold young minds. I always love the intellectual characters, and I really hope they bring him back. Seriously, they could hurry up on that. 14. Dr. Arthur Watts. Here's another underused character I thought was interesting. Like I had mentioned, I love the smart characters no matter what side they happen to align with. His abilities are incredibly useful to really anyone. His demeanor is enjoyable as well. Though he is mostly the calm, cool, and collected type, he can have quite the temper. He was an odd fellow, and I'm very sad we only get to see him battle the once. 13. Maria Calavera, also known as the Grim Reaper. Now, when we meet her, she is labeled a defenseless old lady. Defenseless my ass. If she hadn't been there during season 6 to help Ruby unlock the power of her silver eyes, they would have been absolutely screwed when that apathy Grim was about to get them. Crow thought she was so cool when he was younger, he molded his weapon after hers. She is a legend, and an awesome character addition. 12. Emerald Sestrai. Based on Aladdin and even once referred to as a street rat, Emerald is difficult to place. She spreads lots of pain in the world, but not out of malice, just because she was devoted to Cinder. I started suspecting she would likely flip sides during season 3. She's the only one not smiling over the horrors everyone else seems so happy about. Her semblance of creating hallucinations is quite amazing, and I am ecstatic to see her in a better light. All she wants is someone to care about her, and if that isn't sad, I don't know what is. To quote Coco, ooh, I like her. 11. Blake Belladonna. Blake was one of my first original favorites. The line, "There is too much wrong in the world to just stand by and do nothing," speaks volumes of her personality. She may not be all sunshine and rainbows, but she brings a lot to the table, and it was her persistence that pushed her team to go on more difficult missions. At the end of the day, she tries to help a world rigged against her species, which is more than enough to earn her a place on this list. 10. Yang Xiao Long. Who doesn't love our little firecracker? She's strong, charismatic, and funny. I love her style and her attitude. She kind of reminds me of a Super Saiyan when she uses her semblance, and I love it. She is definitely the badass of Team RWBY, and that makes it exceptionally difficult to see her being injured at the end of season 3. But her father was absolutely right. She was too strong to let that stop her. 9. Sun Wukong. I love Sun. He's one of my favorites to watch battle, and he probably has one of my favorite weapons on the entire series. He is bright, cheery, and a good friend. He is the first person Blake really seemed to trust, and their friendship and his hard-headedness was able to get through to her and show her people want to be there for her, even if she doesn't think she wants them to be. Sure, he is a bit reckless, but you can't argue with the lightness he usually brings to the situation. 8. Nora Valkyrie. She is such a little Thor, it's adorable. At first, I didn't really enjoy Nora too much. but the more we learn about her, the more I want to hug her. She tries her best to be the happy, energetic one of the group, despite being left behind by her own mother and being mocked as an orphan. I'm surprised she isn't more jaded and quiet like Ren, and thankfully she is not. I love her little giggles. She is definitely queen of the castle. 7. Ruby Rose. Finally, our main character. I love Ruby. Her level of optimism is not only incredible, but contagious. More people should be like her, and if they were, the world of Remnant wouldn't be in such dire straits. Her semblance was always neat to me, but it has gotten even better with time. Plus, the way she handles her weapon is always fun to watch. The group as a whole would be such a mess without her to help guide them. Although she may not be the voice of reason, she is definitely the voice of peace. She really is the bee's knees. 6. Penny Polendina. Based on Pinocchio, poor little Penny is not a real girl, yet she experiences anxiety over it, which is about as human as you can get. I loved her in the first few seasons, and even if she was a robot, was extremely devastated when she was torn apart. I can't explain my excitement when they brought her back. She seemed even more human than before. Unfortunately, due to the meddling of others, she was put through hell, made to look like she was a murderer, infected with a virus, and told she would be responsible for any death that occurred, simply for not following questionable orders. I legitimately cried when she finally gets to be a real girl and asks, "Do hugs always make you feel this warm inside?" Our girl deserved better. 5. Oscar Pine. Just when you thought you were super pissed about Osmond dying, guess what? He reincarnates into the body of a like-minded soul. And here we have poor little farmhand Oscar. Honestly, he's adorable and works hard to get into fighting shape. He regularly gets overwhelmed, but we can't really fault him for it. We see him become exhausted when Osmond takes over and emotional when Osmond leaves them. He is experiencing his own personal hell nobody could understand, but he still wants to help the people, despite them making it difficult. Nora has it absolutely right. I love cute boy Oz. 4. John Arc. Remember when John was sick of being the damsel in distress? Those days are definitely over. After a long wait, we finally get to see his semblance, and it is arguably the most useful. Being able to heal in a world of constant bloodshed is basically a gold mine. He was my first favorite character on the show, even if he did cheat his way into Beacon. He respects his teammates and his friends. He would die for them, and he says so himself. They are the ones who matter, not him. I mean, I totally disagree because he's kick-ass and I love him, and if he dies, I will be personally offended. 3. Pira Nikos. I love Pira, and she would be my absolute favorite if she had lived long enough. She was cheery, fun to watch, and so nice. She ran into a fight she knew she couldn't win, just because she had to try. She was intelligent, appalled by those intolerant to the faunus, and a great friend. She spent her downtime helping Jean and asking for nothing in return, and was quick to forgive him when he was absent from their team. Also, could she be more adorable? Her whole aesthetic is visually pleasing. She is another character that deserves so much better. 2. Crow Bronwyn. Uncle Crow is kick-ass. He's only the uncle of Yang and Ruby, and yet is always the one watching over them. Not Ty, not Raven, but Crow. I can see why Ruby looks up to him so much. His semblance of misfortune and the fact that nobody wanted him because of it already makes me feel bad for him. We see him get frustrated when things go wrong, and he immediately blames himself. I would love to see him find a partner, and we almost get to see that happen, but we get cheated out of it, which to Crow proves his pessimism right even more, and it is such a shame. 1. Weiss Schnee. I'm Team Snow Angel on this one. She is precious. She goes through the best and the most character development. She started spoiled, prejudiced, and cold, but she grows out of it and becomes more sensitive and caring. She has nearly become the nurturer of the group. She is extremely skilled, and her semblance is one of my favorites, even without the summoning, which rendered it even better. Her team gave her the love and understanding that she needed to become the best version of herself, and we have officially said goodbye to the Ice Queen. Well, that wraps up this installment of my ridiculous ravings. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and TTFN, ta-ta for now.